Welcome viewers to an exciting new series in the realm of event planning and tourism excellence. How to Events is brought to you by The Slate, Phuket's premier destination for unforgettable MICE gatherings. In this informative series, we're diving deep into the latest event topics, offering invaluable insights and strategies for success. Coming up in this first episode, presented by The Slate, we put the spotlight on event catering. We're delving into the artistry and significance behind the scenes of every successful gathering. Why does catering hold such paramount importance? Well, let's start with this timeless truth. The food experience at an event is etched into memory, shaping perceptions and moods. It's not just about sustenance, it's about crafting moments of indulgence and satisfaction. Every dish served should reflect freshness, quality, and a touch of culinary finesse, leaving guests craving for more. Yet in event planning, catering sometimes is a low priority with budgetary constraints. But here's the revelation. Scrimping on catering is akin to shortchanging the essence of your event. From corporate galas to wedding celebrations, the gastronomic journey event planners and the hotel orchestrate speaks volume about their regard for attendees. Food is a fundamental of hospitality, leaving an indelible mark of care and sophistication. Enter the event planner with the hotel event coordinator and the hotel chef, the maestro of culinary symphonies. They're tasked with ensuring every palate preference is met. For to overlook the important role of catering is a recipe for disaster. A meticulously curated menu isn't just nourishment, it's a testament of professionalism and attention to detail. Guests may forget the conference content, but they'll remember a good or bad meal for a long time after. Today I have a distinguished panel of 4 experts on food, glorious food, with Chris Srisatin, founder and managing director of Stream Events Asia, and also board member of TICA, the Thailand Incentive and Convention Association, and an advisor on gastronomy tourism. Sumi Suryan, food and restaurant consultant based in Phuket. David Hayes, chairman and CEO of Jand Events Group, headquartered in Phuket and providing event services throughout Southeast Asia with a focus on Thailand. And to round off our panel, Lalida Kantong, also known as GAM, Assistant Director of Events at The Slate, a Bill Bensley design hotel. Let's kick things off by exploring the impact of event catering and gastronomy tourism. Chris, could you enlighten us?
Thank you, David. When we talk about the gastronomy is one of the key factors and is not only for food and beverage. When we talk about the gastronomy at the destination, it means that, food, ingredients, the culture, the history, the people, and also the journey into the destination by combining food, beverage, and also the activities together to make the program and your journey is more memorable and a meaningful experience. And food and beverage is also very, very important for business event, for incentive, for meetings. When you organize this kind of the event, food and beverage, it always become a main or key factor that to make your event a great success. You can create and you can design by using food and beverage and also the activities into one of the event. Example, if you're going down to Phuket, in many venues that very unique, very special, and that you can bring in the history and also the activities that together, because Phuket itself is a land for Chinese and also for the local Thai people, like a Chino Portuguese. And then you can create the food and drinks by combining with the history and also the culture of the destination. like okay, Paranagan night, one night at the destination. You can do one night in Phuket with the Paranagan theme dinner. You can combine with the decoration, the whole hall of the events, the food design for each, from the appetizer and appetizer and also main course and the dessert. That is a Peranakan food, and each of the courses you can have a storytelling and also relating of where you get the ingredients from each dish, and then you present. So then the chef who can come out and explain for each dish of the important from the history and the ingredient, and then has been related from the appetizer until the end dessert. So that is something that you use the gastronomy, you can use the history, you can use the culture and the journey through the destination. At the same time, the people can wearing the Peranakan costume, so that on that night the people will journey into the old day of the Peranakan period, that is the culture and the history of Phuket. So David, food is one of the most memorable elements of an event.
The power of gastronomy tourism for you. Thanks, Chris. Next on our menu of panellists today is Sumi. With your expertise in the Phuket culinary scene, what recommendations do you have for catering with local flair?
Thank you very much, David. It is my honor and privilege to be here today and to talk about the dining scene in Phuket when it comes to organizing events and big occasions here in Phuket. So there are many things to consider for an event planner or a caterer when it comes to managing events. So here are a few things to go through your checklist. There are many things, but here are the few essentials that I feel should be taken into consideration. So first of all, I think it's very big on everyone's agenda, and it's trending at the moment, is sustainability. So it's very important to look at where you source your products, and restaurants who are looking at seasonal ingredients and also locally produced flavors. So one of the main consideration is the farm-to-table concept. So many are looking at responsible sourcing, so supporting local suppliers in a circular economy, which is really important into bringing back into the destination. It's also important for guest experiences to find out what local flavors there are in Phuket, where they can't find anywhere else, and it gives them that memorable experience to take away from the trip and the event. So that goes into experiential dining, so looking at touring farms, and also some of them actually go and fish and then bring it back to the chefs to cook it for them. And this is a very unique dining experience that you could get here in Phuket, and there are many of them available. So chefs in destination. So it's very important that to utilize chefs here. That there are many chefs who are expert in what they do. They're very knowledgeable. So there's no need to bring in chefs. So that reduces carbon footprint further, and also cost. Menu creation, and this is where I think very important, and most people will go wrong if they don't take it into, don't think it through seriously. So allergies, finding out dietary requirements from your group. So that would actually minimize a lot of mistakes and errors, and also cost in preparing the food. Knowing the cultural sensitivity as well, then you can curate a menu that would suit not only the whole group, so it could be pockets of the group of people that will be attending the event. And that will reduce food waste, reduce repetition, and also supporting local. So you will be sourcing ingredients from what's available at the destination. Everybody knows that if you're not already, Phuket is has been declared a gastronomic city by UNESCO. So it's important to leverage this because it's already given the credibility in the food scene internationally, not just locally. So to leverage that and also integrate into the dining experience would give your guests a better experience. So for example here, I own a restaurant in Phuket called Mrs. B. So we pride ourselves into not only locally sourced, we look at seasonal menu that we could offer to our guests who comes back frequently. And we also look at composting and how we could also utilize and leverage the food not in the kitchen to minimize waste that could transfer into the bar as well. For instance, garnishing for cocktails and your drinks and also for your desserts. Where we can make it look pretty. So there are many ways that we could leverage or use the food, not just in the kitchen, to reduce food waste, which is really important. One of the last things I would like to touch upon as well in a large group is what you want to prepare for your guests, whether it's a 3-course meal or 10-course tasting menu or buffet station, depending on the number of people. Again, this is also very important when it comes to food waste and also targeting what's the flavor that would suit your guests. So these are the few tips that I have and experience in my F&B consulting experience, and I hope that will be helpful to most of you.
Thanks, Sumi, for those insightful recommendations. Now let's look at the fundamentals of event catering with David Hayes of Jand Events.
Thank you, David. Food and catering for events is really split into 4 or 5 main categories. We have the buffet mainly for groups. We have the pass-arounds, where we're looking at a slightly better service level than the buffets. We have the plated and served a la carte. So basically for a large group, they might choose a couple of starters, a couple of main courses, a couple of desserts, and that will be plated in advance and then served by waiters at the event. We have a combination of buffet and plated. So somebody might order a plated starter, a plated dessert, but a buffet for the main course. And then we have, of course, live stations where the chefs are cooking different types of food depending on what the client's requirements are. So those are the real main areas of catering for an event for food. On top of that, we have separately looking at the drinks. And of course, the client can decide whether different packages suit their budget. So we start with a soft drinks package, for instance, then we will add on beer, and then we will add on from that probably wine, a mixture of red, white, sparkling and rosé. On top of that, we will go to cocktails, and then finally on a free flow would be spirits. That would be spirits with everything will mean that it's the most expensive package for the client. But really what we find with the catering for these big events, let's say anywhere between 100 and 1,000 people, it's really down to the client's preferences on how they choose to serve their visitors and their guests. The logistics of this is quite important, because if you're in a hotel and you're using the hotel facilities and you're using the hotel to serve and take your guests to the dining experience, I wouldn't say that's easy, but it is relatively easy. Of course, we have a lot of guests and clients that want to eat off-site. So they may have a conference in the day, and then in the evening they will want to go off-site to eat. Now that's a far more complicated thing to put together for a larger group. Just clearly the logistics of transporting 300 people to a separate venue, and then the kitchens of that venue have to be set up to deliver the requirements depending on the client's needs. It's important to note that in events in Thailand, the large proportion of the cost is the drinks package, especially if they're including wines and spirits. That can be certainly double the price per person, if not more, than the food price per person. So I think that when people are looking at an event in Thailand, they're looking at the cost of the food alongside the cost of the drinks package as well. This is something that makes it quite expensive to put that together for a group of, let's say, 300 to 500 people on a free flow basis over maybe 3 or 4 nights. So for the uneducated, the way that we will serve food to a group is based on the size, it's based on the location, and it's based on whether they are taking a sit-down meal or a buffet-style meal. The live stations bring another sort of entity to the evening, so people may well want to use the live stations for the main courses, but of course they may well want to have the starters and desserts and coffee served at the table. So that's one of the areas that is normally outside of a hotel. I mean, we do that quite a lot outside of hotels in other venues where we give the client the option of doing that for their guests. Going back to the drinks, most clients will look for a free flow package. However, of course, they can have it on consumption. So, you know, a client that doesn't mind what their guests can drink, they give them a varied menu of drinks available, and the venue then just charges as per the consumption of their guests during the evening, normally for a certain number of hours. So, you know, if you're doing a dinner, the drinks will be served on a free flow basis and on a consumption basis, maybe for 3 hours. And then maybe after that, it will become a pay bar, or the client may extend it by an hour, depending on how the evening is going. But these are the general areas of event catering that you will see in most countries, let alone Thailand.
Now let's shift our focus to the pivotal role of the event team and chef in ensuring catering success. Now over to Kungam. What tips and advice do you have to share from your experience in event catering at the Slate?
Thank you, Kun David. I'm head of the event, and I'm bridging the customer needs and work closely with chef and the food and beverage team. Every element is important for planning for event, but it's also, I think it's very important on food and beverage, planning the menus and to meet every customer's and every delegate's needs. So with the chef, we have the set menu already by the chef, but everyone have their own preference on the food. So I am and the event team work with the customer event planner to go through guest preferences, food dietary, and every restriction that we need to cater for them when they are at the Slate. So then after that, I discuss with the chef to refine the menu, presenting menu version 1 and adjust it and look through the menu with the customer once again, and a few times, 2 or 3, 4 times that we need to go through back and forth on the menu to make sure that the menu is perfect. And with the catering on the different days, 3-4 days of the event, we want to make sure that the menu is not duplicate for coffee break, lunch, cocktail and dinners, right? So we need to make sure that the variety of the food is there, and of course we would like to deliver the local food, the local flavored into the menu as much as possible, because that's also the reason that why they come to Thailand, why they come to Phuket. So we deliver, apart from the food, we deliver experience. Part of food, we also need to think of the beverage. And for planning on beverage, whether the open bar is needed for that event, or it's better to create a new open bar for particular group needs, non-alcoholic, mocktail, or even mineral water. At the Slate, we have our own water plantation, so that's also part of going to the topic of sustainability that Kun Sumi already touched point on. And for sustainability at the Slate, in terms of food, we reduce food waste, because the chef also great for planning the menu that avoid food waste. We invest on people. So in one buffet, for example, we don't go with the giant buffet with a lot of food, but we invest on people in terms of we have a la-minute cooking live station. So that's also make the food very fresh and cook according to the guest preference, chicken or allergy to seafood. So we have a split cooking pans and pots for different preferences to avoid allergies as much as possible. And with the food, in terms of sustainability, we have organic garden in the hotel, where the chef is picking herbs in the garden and cook for the guests. Either it's a cooking class in the hotel or for the events catering as well. And one of the activity is the Thai cooking school that we have. We bring people into the local market to buy local ingredients. So that's another income circulation for locals as well. And also, as I said, no replication on the menu, meaning that we need to also be creative to presenting the menus to the client to try several things and different things based on the ingredients that Phuket is well known of: seafood, pineapple, and sort of all local ingredients they can try when they are here. And in the overall summary, it's about enhancing guest experience in terms of food, providing for the event, and we would like to welcome you to the Slate for experiencing the event here in Phuket.
Thank you, Gam, for sharing your invaluable expertise. As we draw this discussion on catering to a close, I want to extend my sincere gratitude to our esteemed panellists, David, Sumi, Chris and Gam, for your enlightening insights into the world of catering excellence. And to our audience, you. If you're eager to plan your next event or exclusive dining experience at the Slate, please reach out to Gam for more information. Thank you and bon appetit.